We're facing the rise of agnosticism, the rise of atheism. This is our final question, Dr. Saab. We're facing the rise of agnosticism and atheism amongst some segments of the Muslim Ummah, especially here in America. I'd like to speak a little bit about that before we conclude, because I think it's very important that people hear from the both of us. What do we think we should be doing? What advice can we give to the Muslims to make sure that we protect the iman of the next generation and to counter this rise of irreligiosity and agnosticism and atheism?
As far as the rise of atheism rising in the Western country, I disagree with you. It is not only Western countries, throughout the world.
Yeah, okay, so before I play the rest, this is very, very interesting because it seems like
I just crack up when I hear him talk.
That was very interesting because he said, I disagree with you, and people assume that he's going to be like, oh, I disagree with you, atheism is not rising. It's not on the rise. He's like, no, it is rising. It's not. It's rising everywhere.
It's not just like, in Western countries. It's rising all over the world, in the Gulf countries too. Anyway.
Yes. We're winning. We're winning, guys. Are you tired of winning yet? Like this is like.
Oh my God! You got to let the man speak. Let's let him speak.
Okay.
Generation, and to counter this rise of irreligiosity and agnosticism and atheism.
As far as the rise of atheism rising in the Western country, I disagree with you. It is not only Western countries, throughout the world. It is rising everywhere in the world, including Gulf countries. You know, where I consider that, you know, the Gulf countries, especially Saudi Arabia, it is the heart of Tawheed. I was shocked. It was in 2014. They asked me to give a lecture on atheism. Does God exist? I was shocked. In Saudi Arabia, in Jamiatul Imam, where I consider one of the best Islamic universities, to give a talk on atheism. And then I realized that the people told me that even in the Gulf countries, leave aside Western countries, leave aside UK, leave aside America, India, even there are, and previously, according to me, when a person from Saudi Arabia or from the Gulf country went to America or went to Western country, the chances that, you know, they would deviate from the deen would be maybe 1 or 2%. That's it. But nowadays, the chances are more than 25%. Coming back to your question, I know that there is a rise, and I've given a talk on this topic, does God exist? Where I have proved with reason, logic, and science the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What I believe that amongst the people who are in the past, you know, there is a section of the guys who disagree on answering any question, which I don't agree with them. They say, okay, this question, ye shaitani sawal hai. This is a devil's question. So this question cannot be asked. You know, so they disagree on answering questions when anyone raises against the Quran. Where I'm concerned, if I find a book which is written against the Quran and a book written in favor of Quran, I will first buy the book written against the Quran to know how are they attacking the Quran. If I don't know how the enemies are attacking the Quran, how as a Dai can I defend it? So what we realize that many questions like which our younger generation asks, our older generation used to disagree replying, saying that this will take away from the deen, which I disagree. Number one, we should stop saying do not answer questions which are you know, a Satan's question. I said no, you can answer any question.
Okay, we do need to stop a little bit, Ali, because if we
I was going to say I wanted him to finish. Like I didn't say don't stop at all. But
no. Also, because Yasser Ghadi, it does do copyright strikes on people.
Okay.
He does, like, he's famous. This is on Yasser Ghadi's YouTube channel, and he is famous for doing false copyright strikes, especially on the video that he didn't want to get out, which was the video about the holes in the narrative regards to the variants in the Quran. He went around. He was so desperately trying to take those videos down that he keep filing false copyright strikes on different YouTube videos. So for the sake of, and because this is from Yasser Ghadi's channel, we need to pause and comment every once in a while to make sure that if he does do a copyright strike on us, it's a false copyright strike, and we could like say that, like, look, we have enough commentary on this for this to be fair use, right?
Yeah. But I like, so I actually do think that Zakir Naik, I mean, I like what he said. It sounds similar to kind of what you say. I mean, sorry, I'm comparing you to Zakir Naik, but that's the
I
idea
like what
that,
you said as well.
yeah, like that, where if he wants to argue for his case, then first he's going to find all of the arguments against his case. And he actually is quite familiar with the arguments against his case. The way he responds to them is obviously, ridiculous, and we don't agree with that. But he does his due diligence. So I think he's a worthy interlocutor, I think, in that sense. And what he's saying is actually really important. Yeah, don't shut people down and engage with them. Now, I think the outcome of that refreshingly will be much different than what he's hoping for, I think. But overall, I think the approach is, I mean, the fact that they're waking up to this is a huge thing. It's a huge thing. I never saw this growing up. Never saw a guy like him. I mean, when I was growing up, there was Ahmed Didat, right? We actually we went to Mecca once for Umrah, and we were eating in one of these like little restaurants. These sort of we went there for dinner after after the Kaaba, like going into the Haram, and we saw Ahmed Didat's family there. And I remember my dad went up and said hi to him. This is in the 80s. I'm a very old man. So, and I used to watch his debates after that. Like I used to see the way he used to talk, and Zakir Naik has kind of taken the mantle from him. Ahmed Didat kind of used to do these things too, but they were still very, very sensitive about young Muslims. Their Muslim kids asking them these blasphemous questions, and they used to just kind of swat it away. And they are coming to the realization right now that this is just no longer an option.
Okay, so just a few things. I just want to highlight the fact that we are winning this battle of ideas with like us and a whole bunch of other people that are highlighting how ridiculous Islam is, with such a small fraction of the resources that the Dawah community has, right? I mean, the money and the resources that they have, both the not just the Wahhabis, the reformists, the modernists, the Shirazi Shias, the Walayat Faqih Shias, they have oil money behind them. Then you have the Turkey spreading their version across Europe with the mosques that they build and the madrasas that they build. And then you have Malaysia spending so much money in trying to whitewash Islam around the world. And you have all these resources and all this money being spent into spreading and marketing Islam. And in response to that, and we're talking about, like, I can't even put a number on how huge the resources and the money is behind this. And then on the other side, yeah, people like, I mean, as big as, for example, channels like Apostate Prophet, David Wood, and and also ex-Muslims of North America, and then we have smaller channels like us, and we have Reason on Faith, and we have who else do we have? Abdullah Samir, we have Harris Sultan, we have Imtiaz Shams. Like, if you add all of these together, it's like a drop. It's like such a nothing. It's like a drop in an ocean compared to what they're doing. And with all of this information that is being put out there, we are winning. Like, imagine, like, this is only getting started. Like, we're only getting started in actually raising some awareness about. I think also we're winning more right now because we have like managed to steal this whole anti-Islam platform from the bigots and the far right, because they were harming this whole movement, right? I think now that we have actually some people that people could take seriously, especially if they're ex-Muslim, I think a lot more people, when they go and try to find the information, they see that the motivations are not anti-immigrant, anti-Muslim. It's easier for that movement to keep growing this way, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to add in like a little petty, I was going to throw in an I told you so, because I have, like, for the last couple of years, I remember I've been quite an optimist on this. Like, I think that this thing is gaining steam. I always give that example of, Salman Rushdie thing was just like 30 years ago, and look at us now. And I always got a lot of opposition. Like, you're not realizing the threat. I wasn't diminishing it in any way, but this is kind of what I was talking about, that, we're sort of seeing this happen. I don't think the funding matters. I think that when it comes to revolutionary technologies, like, what Mariam Namazi said about the printing press, right? The printing press, it wasn't about, these were people who didn't have a lot of money who came out and changed the world with their ideas. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg was a kid in a Harvard dorm room. Julian Assange was just like a guy in his basement. These people, they just ended up having these massive voices. And it wasn't about the money and how much funding there was. I mean, Julian Assange, right? Like, whatever you think about him, this guy was like in some basement with an internet connection. He ended up sending, like, the Secretary of State in the U.S. on a worldwide apology tour because of leaked diplomatic cables. So there's a tremendous amount of power, right? The downfall of all these Middle Eastern dictators. There's a huge power to social media and the internet. And I think that's where the ideas really, really come through. And they can have all the funding they want. It doesn't matter. Saudi oil money does not matter. Yeah.
Yes. Reason on Faith is saying, great point, Armin. I had to highlight this because it started with great point, Armin.
That's great. Yeah.
We're a ragtag bunch of individual activists with a fraction of the resources of these big Islamic organizations, and we're making a difference.
Yes.
Hey guys, if you want to join these streams live, get your comments and questions read by Ali and Armin and the guests, and most importantly, to get full access to the full video versions of all these episodes, become a patron. Link in the description below.